This is the island that turned catastrophe into a blueprint for the future. In this video, we are going to look at how Jamaica's devastating hit from Hurricane Melissa became more than a story of destruction. It became a model for climate-smart rebuilding. You'll see how the nation's bold, medium-term plan is inspiring global powers, climate financiers, and small states everywhere to think differently about survival, resilience, and rebirth. It was the morning of October 28, 2025. Across the Caribbean, radio signals screamed the same warning. Hurricane Melissa has made landfall. Within hours, Jamaica, a lush island known for reggae, tourism and resilient people, was under siege. Winds roared at 185 miles per hour, tearing through roofs like paper. Trees that had stood for decades were uprooted in seconds. Rivers burst their banks, swallowing entire neighborhoods. By the time the storm's eye passed over New Hope in Westmoreland, Jamaica was unrecognizable. Roads were shredded, communication lines snapped, and power grids went dark. The island's lifeline, its tourism and agriculture sectors, was crushed. Early estimates painted a staggering picture. The damage could amount to nearly a third of Jamaica's annual GDP. But amid the ruins, a new idea began to take shape. One that could redefine how a small island nation recovers and rebuilds in the age of climate change. When Hurricane Melissa hit, it wasn't just another storm. It was a once-in-a-century catastrophe. Meteorologists recorded rainfall between 500 and 750 millimeters across several regions, with storm surges rising over 4 meters high along the coast. In areas like St. Elizabeth, homes were reduced to shells, roofs vanished, and entire villages were marooned by rising waters. The collapse of infrastructure was near total. Power lines tangled across highways, bridges crumbled, and hillside roads vanished under landslides. The national grid went down, leaving millions in darkness. Families huddled in the remnants of their homes as floodwaters climbed to their doorsteps. Economically, the impact was devastating. Prime Minister Andrew Holness confirmed what many feared. Jamaica had suffered losses equal to about one-third of its GDP. Tourism, the heartbeat of the economy, stopped overnight. Farmlands were ruined, small businesses destroyed, and thousands suddenly found themselves without work. Now imagine this: your home gone, your crops destroyed, your livelihood erased, all in a single day. That was the reality for thousands of Jamaicans after Melissa. But as the floodwaters receded, a new question surfaced. How do you rebuild when so much has been lost? Within hours of the storm's passage, the Jamaican government declared the entire island a disaster zone under the Disaster Risk Management Act. Emergency shelters filled quickly as relief agencies mobilized to provide food, water, and medical care. The government launched an emergency fund to support immediate needs, while international partners like the World Bank, the Red Cross, and the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency pledged aid. But the real story began after the initial rescue phase, when Jamaica turned its attention from survival to transformation. Instead of simply rebuilding what was destroyed, Prime Minister Holness announced a bold initiative: a medium-term rebuild strategy focused on resilience and innovation. This plan wasn't about fixing the old Jamaica. It was about constructing a stronger, smarter version of it. The approach was simple but revolutionary. Prepare for the storms of tomorrow, not rebuild for the ones of yesterday. Under this strategy, every reconstruction effort carries a vision. Power lines are being buried underground to prevent future outages. Houses are being rebuilt with reinforced materials, designed to withstand stronger winds and floods. Roads are being elevated and fortified. The government even launched a nationwide cleanup initiative, National Cleanup Week, to clear debris and jumpstart community recovery efforts. At the same time, attention turned to livelihoods. Farmers are being supported with grants and technical aid to replant crops more resistant to floods and droughts. Tourism operators are redesigning coastal resorts with green infrastructure, mangroves, dunes, and elevated structures to reduce damage from future surges. Behind all this lies a sophisticated financial system. Insurance mechanisms, catastrophe bonds, and climate funds designed to ensure Jamaica doesn't drown in debt while trying to rebuild. And here's the twist. Most island nations rebuild. Jamaica is trying to transform. That's what makes this moment historic. Jamaica's recovery has become much more than a local story. It's a global experiment in resilience. For years, small island nations have been on the front lines of climate change, yet their voices often go unheard. Now, with Melissa's destruction fresh in global memory, Jamaica's response could reshape how the world finances and manages post-disaster recovery. International attention has already shifted toward Kingston. Climate experts from across the globe are watching closely. Can a small Caribbean nation with limited resources set the standard for rebuilding in a warming world? The answer lies in how Jamaica uses finance. Its innovative use of catastrophe bonds, financial instruments that pay out automatically after extreme disasters, has already attracted interest from development agencies and investment firms. By combining these with international insurance and rapid relief mechanisms, Jamaica is testing a model that could be replicated across other climate-vulnerable countries. But this isn't just about money, it's about justice. Disasters like Hurricane Melissa raise tough questions about fairness and responsibility. Why do nations that contribute the least to global warming suffer the most from its effects? Jamaica's case has reignited global discussions about debt relief, climate reparations, and the moral duty of wealthy countries to help finance recovery for smaller, exposed nations. At the heart of it all is a bold statement from Jamaica. Rebuilding isn't just about recovery. It's about rewriting the rules. If successful, this medium-term rebuild strategy could set a blueprint for climate resilience worldwide. It could inspire a shift from reactive disaster relief to proactive preparedness. It could make insurers, lenders, and world leaders rethink how they value resilience. But there's a darker side to this story too. What happens if Jamaica fails to secure the funding it needs? What if bureaucratic delays, debt burdens, or political pressure slow down the rebuild? A stalled recovery could send shockwaves across global climate policy, proving that even the best plans crumble without sustained global support. The world is watching, because Jamaica's future could hold lessons for every nation on Earth. Here's where everything comes full circle. Jamaica's medium-term rebuild strategy isn't just a plan, it's a declaration of intent. The country is saying, we're done with temporary fixes. This time, it's not about rebuilding what was, it's about building over what failed. This is a movement over the old way of thinking, where disasters strike and nations simply patch up the damage until the next one hits. Jamaica is breaking that cycle. It's building over vulnerability, over dependence, and over the idea that small islands must always wait for help. The most powerful realization here is that Hurricane Melissa, while catastrophic, might be the catalyst for a new era of resilience. In a painful twist of fate, The storm that nearly broke Jamaica might also be the one that forces the world to confront a larger truth. We can't afford to keep rebuilding the same way. If Jamaica succeeds, it will show that transformation is possible, even under extreme pressure. Stronger infrastructure, modernized agriculture, climate-smart tourism, and innovative financing could all combine to make the island not just recover, but rise. But if it fails, the implications stretch far beyond the Caribbean. Other vulnerable nations could lose hope in long-term climate adaptation. Investors might retreat, and the cycle of destruction and debt would continue unchecked. So this isn't just Jamaica's test, it's the world's. The choices made here could determine how the next generation faces an increasingly unpredictable planet. What Jamaica teaches us is that recovery is no longer just about restoring the past. It's about resetting the future. The country's journey from devastation to reconstruction shows that when a nation chooses resilience over despair, it redefines what's possible. The story of Hurricane Melissa isn't only about destruction, it's about determination. It's about a people refusing to surrender, a government daring to think differently, and a small island stepping onto the global stage as a leader in climate adaptation. Jamaica's experiment may soon become the world's blueprint. Rebuild stronger, prepare smarter, and ensure that every dollar invested today protects lives tomorrow. This is more than reconstruction. It's reinvention. If this story moved you, take a second to like this video. Share it with someone who believes in resilience, and subscribe for more deep dive stories about nations redefining their future. Now it's your turn to join the conversation. Do you think small island nations like Jamaica should lead the global movement for climate resilient rebuilding? Or should wealthier countries take the lead in financing these transformations? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments, because the next big idea in climate recovery might just start with you.